every morning, before the world even knows you're awake. A silent decision is being made, one that will shape the next 24 hours of your life. Most people never notice it. They wake up, reach for their phone, scroll through notifications, absorb bad news, compare themselves to strangers on social media, and within minutes, their mood, focus, and confidence are already being controlled by the outside world. Their day hasn't even started yet, but their mind has already been hijacked. But the most successful, resilient, and powerful people do something completely different. Before the noise of the world enters their mind, they take control of it. They understand a simple truth. The first thoughts of the morning are not random. They are programming. Neuroscience shows that right after you wake up, your brain is in one of its most receptive states. The thoughts you repeat in those early moments literally begin shaping the patterns your mind will follow for the rest of the day. In other words, the way you start your morning quietly decides the kind of person you will be that day. And this idea is not new. Over 2,000 years ago, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal about preparing his mind each morning before facing the chaos of the world. As a leader responsible for an empire, wars, politics, and constant criticism, he knew something most people forget. If you don't prepare your mind, the world will control it for you. This was the foundation of Stoic philosophy, a mental discipline practiced by emperors, generals, and thinkers who trained themselves to stay calm, focused, and powerful no matter what life threw at them. And today, you're about to learn one of their most powerful tools. 10 simple morning declarations that can reprogram the way you think, react, and move through life. 10 sentences that, if practiced daily, can completely change how you experience every single day. Stay with me, because the next few minutes might just change the way you wake up for the rest of your life. Affirmation 1. I am responsible for how today feels. Before anything else happens today, before the emails, the traffic, the conversations, or the unexpected problems, there is one powerful truth most people never realize. Your day is not controlled by what happens to you. Your day is controlled by how you choose to respond. Yet most people live the opposite way. They wake up and immediately surrender their emotional control to the outside world. If the weather is bad, their mood drops. If someone sends a rude message, their energy collapses. If work becomes stressful, frustration takes over. Without realizing it, they spend their entire lives reacting. Blaming circumstances becomes a habit. Blaming other people becomes a reflex. But one man proved that even in the darkest situation imaginable, there is still something no one can take away from you. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, endured years inside Nazi concentration camps. Everything was stripped from him: his freedom, his family, his comfort, even his safety. Yet through that unimaginable suffering, he discovered something extraordinary. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing: the last of the human freedoms to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Think about that. If a human being could maintain the power to choose his attitude in a concentration camp, then surely we can choose our attitude in the ordinary challenges of daily life. This realization changes everything. When you stop blaming circumstances, you reclaim your power. So every morning, begin your day with this declaration. I am responsible for how today feels. My emotions are my choice. No circumstance will control the state of my mind. Affirmation 2. Nothing can disturb my peace without my permission. Let me ask you something. How many times has someone else's words ruined your entire day? One comment, one message, one small moment, and suddenly your mind is filled with anger, frustration, or doubt. Most people never realize what just happened. They handed over the keys to their inner world. But the truth is this: your mind is supposed to be a fortress. A fortress has walls. A fortress has gates. And most importantly, a fortress has a guardian. Yet many people leave their gates wide open. Every criticism walks in. Every negative opinion sets up camp. Every small problem becomes a storm inside their mind. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled one of the most powerful empires in history, understood something most people forget. In his journal Meditations, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that. You cannot control what people say. You cannot control what happens around you, but there is always one thing you control: the space between the event and your reaction. In that small moment, sometimes only a second, you decide everything. You decide whether your peace stays protected or gets destroyed. So starting today, make a powerful decision. Guard your mind like a fortress. Protect your peace like it is the most valuable thing you own. Stand tall and say it with conviction. Nothing can disturb my peace without my permission. I am the guardian of my inner world. Today, I choose what enters my mind. Affirmation 3. Today, I focus only on what I can control. Right now, millions of people are wasting enormous amounts of energy worrying about things they will never control. They worry about what others think of them. They worry about the future. They worry about the economy, politics, the past, and 1,000 possible problems that may never even happen. And by the time the day ends, they feel exhausted, without actually moving their life forward. This is one of the greatest traps of the human mind. More than 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus revealed a principle so powerful that it became the foundation of Stoic philosophy. He said, "Some things are within our control, and some things are not." That's it. Life becomes much simpler when you understand this distinction. Imagine your life divided into 3 circles. The first circle is what you fully control: your effort, your attitude, your decisions, your actions. The second circle is what you can influence but not control: relationships, opportunities, other people's reactions. And the third circle is what you cannot control at all: the past, the weather, the economy, other people's opinions. Most people spend their entire lives trapped in the third circle, but powerful people live in the first one. They stop worrying about what they can't change, and they direct all their energy toward action. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, remind yourself of this simple but life-changing truth. Today I focus only on what I can control. My attention belongs to my actions, my effort, and my choices. This is where my power lives. Affirmation 4. My worth is not measured by today's outcomes. Now, here's where many people get trapped. Even after they learn to focus on what they can control, they still believe that their value as a person depends on the result. If they succeed, they feel worthy. If they fail, they feel small. One good day makes them confident. One bad day makes them question everything about themselves. Society quietly teaches us this pattern from a very young age. Your grades define your intelligence. Your job defines your importance. Your income defines your success. But the Stoic philosopher Seneca saw the danger in this way of thinking. As an advisor to emperors and one of the wealthiest men in Rome, he also experienced exile, betrayal, and eventually a forced death sentence. Through it all, he understood something most people never realize. External outcomes are temporary, but your inner worth is not. Your value does not rise when you succeed, and it does not disappear when you fail. Because your worth is not something you earn from the world. It is something you already possess by simply being human. When you understand this, something powerful happens. You stop chasing validation. You stop tying your identity to every result. And suddenly, you are free to focus on the only thing that truly matters, your actions, which leads directly to the next principle. Because once you detach your worth from outcomes, you gain the courage to do what most people only talk about. So begin your morning with this truth. My worth is not measured by today's outcomes. My value is inherent. Today, I give my best effort, and that is enough. Affirmation 6. I will act, not just intend. Here is a brutal truth about human nature. Most people don't fail because they lack ideas. They fail because they never move from intention to action. Every morning, millions of people wake up with good plans. They plan to start exercising. They plan to learn a new skill. They plan to build a business, fix their habits, improve their lives. But by the end of the day, nothing has changed. The ideas were there. The intentions were there, but the action never came. This invisible gap between thinking and doing is where most dreams quietly die. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of this in his private writings. In Meditations, he wrote words that still challenge us today. When you rise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love, and to do the work of a human being. To him, being human meant one thing above all else: action, not endless planning, not waiting for the perfect moment, not hoping motivation will magically appear. The people who change their lives are not the ones who think the most. They are the ones who move first. Success is not built in dramatic breakthroughs. It is built through small, consistent actions repeated day after day. So every morning, close the gap between intention and reality. Make a simple but powerful commitment. I will act, not just intend. Today I move forward, even if the step is small. My progress begins the moment I take action. Affirmation 6. Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. Here's a truth most people try to avoid. No matter how much you plan, no matter how disciplined you become, life will still challenge you. Something will go wrong. Plans will break. People will disappoint you. And obstacles will appear exactly when you least expect them. Most people see these moments as proof that something is wrong with their life. But the Stoics saw them very differently. To them, challenges were not punishments. They were training. One of the most powerful real-life examples of this mindset was Admiral James Stockdale, A.U. Wheat, Navy pilot who was shot down during the Vietnam War and held as a prisoner for more than 7 years. During that time, he was tortured, isolated, and lived in conditions most people cannot even imagine. Yet he survived. And later he revealed the philosophy that kept him mentally unbreakable: Stoicism. Stockdale believed that suffering itself did not destroy people. What destroyed people was the belief that suffering had no meaning. Instead, he viewed every hardship as a test of character, a chance to strengthen courage, patience, and resilience. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the obstacle is not blocking your path. The obstacle is the path. So when challenges appear today, don't see them as enemies. See them as the gym where your character grows stronger. Begin your morning with this declaration: every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. Difficulties are training for my character. What stands in my way will make me stronger. Affirmation 7. I will not compare my journey to anyone else. Let's talk about one of the quietest but most destructive habits of the modern world: comparison. In just a few seconds of scrolling, you can see someone buying a new house, someone traveling the world, someone announcing a promotion, someone showing a perfect relationship. And without even realizing it, a dangerous thought enters your mind: everyone is ahead of me. Confidence begins to shrink. Progress begins to feel meaningless. And suddenly your life feels smaller than it actually is. But here's the truth most people forget: social media is not reality. It is a highlight reel. You see the victories, but not the failures. You see the smiles, but not the sleepless nights. You see the success, but not the years of struggle behind it. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus warned about this long before social media even existed. He taught that the person who protects their peace does not constantly look at what others are doing. Instead, they focus on one simple comparison: who am I today compared to who I was yesterday? That is the only comparison that leads to growth. So if you've ever felt like you're behind in life, I want you to pause for a moment. Look back 1 year. Look back even 6 months. Have you learned something? Have you grown? Have you survived things you once thought would break you? If this message resonates with you, Share it in the comments. Be honest. What is one area of your life where you are choosing to grow instead of compare? And begin your day with this truth. I will not compare my journey to anyone else. My path is unique. My only competition is the person I was yesterday. Affirmation 8. I choose discipline over motivation. After you stop comparing your life to everyone else's, something important becomes clear. Your progress no longer depends on where others are. It depends on what you do every single day. And this is where most people hit another trap. They wait for motivation. They say, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll work harder when I feel inspired. I'll change when I finally feel motivated. But motivation is just a feeling. Some mornings it shows up. Some mornings it disappears. If your life depends on motivation, your progress will always be unstable. The Stoics understood something powerful. Great lives are not built on emotion. They are built on discipline. Discipline is different. Motivation says, I'll do it when I feel like it. Discipline says, I'll do it because I decided to. Discipline is a system. It turns goals into habits. It turns effort into routine. And over time, it turns ordinary people into extraordinary ones. Look at anyone who has built something meaningful in life. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. They are not successful because they felt motivated every day. They are successful because they showed up even on the days they didn't feel like it. And once discipline becomes your foundation, something interesting happens. You stop relying on emotions and you start building momentum, which leads to something even more powerful in the next principle. Because when discipline shapes your actions, gratitude begins to shape how you see the world. So begin your morning with this commitment. I choose discipline over motivation. My actions are guided by commitment, not feelings. Today, I do what I said I would do. Affirmation 9. Gratitude will shape how I see the day. Here's something most people never notice about the human mind. It is naturally wired to focus on what is missing. The problem, the delay, the thing that didn't go as planned. You can have 10 good things happen in a day, and the mind will still replay the one thing that went wrong, left unchecked. This habit slowly trains your brain to see the world through a lens of scarcity. Nothing feels enough. Progress feels invisible. Life feels heavier than it truly is. But the Stoics discovered a powerful way to break this pattern. They trained their minds through something called negative visualization. Instead of constantly chasing more, they would occasionally imagine losing what they already had: health, loved ones, comfort, opportunity. Not to become pessimistic, but to wake up their sense of gratitude. Because the moment you realize something could disappear, you begin to appreciate it more deeply. And gratitude has a remarkable effect on the brain. It shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. Suddenly, small things feel meaningful again. A quiet morning, a working body, the chance to improve your life one more day. Gratitude doesn't ignore problems. It simply refuses to let problems define your entire reality. And when you learn to see the good that already exists, your mind becomes calmer, clearer, and more resilient, which leads perfectly into the final principle: how you turn each day into steady personal growth. But first, begin your morning with this perspective. Gratitude will shape how I see the day. I choose to notice what is already good in my life. Abundance begins with appreciation. Affirmation 10. Imagine if you improved your life by just 1% today. Not a massive breakthrough, not a life-changing victory. Just one small step forward. Now imagine doing that again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. Most people underestimate how powerful this idea really is, because small improvements feel insignificant in the moment. But over time, they compound into something extraordinary. This is exactly how the Stoic philosopher Seneca approached life. At the end of every single day, he practiced a quiet but powerful ritual. Before going to sleep, he would ask himself 3 questions. What mistake did I overcome today? Where did I improve? What could I do better tomorrow? This daily reflection was not about judging himself harshly. It was about progress. Seneca believed that each day should leave you a little wiser, a little calmer, a little stronger than the day before. Modern thinkers call this the 1% rule. Improve just 1% every day. And over time, those small changes multiply into massive transformation. But here is the key. Improvement doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you decide that every single day matters. So tonight, before the day ends, take a moment to reflect. What did you learn today? What will you do better tomorrow? And if this message has inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share one small action you're committing to today in the comments. Because growth begins the moment you choose to act. Start your day with this promise. I will end the day better than I started. Today I grow, even if only by 1%. Small progress today creates a powerful future. Every morning, before the noise of the world begins, you are given a quiet but powerful opportunity. A chance to shape the person you will be that day. Most people rush past this moment. They wake up distracted, reactive, and pulled in every direction by whatever the world throws at them. But you don't have to live that way. Today you discovered 10 powerful declarations that can transform how you move through life. You learn to take responsibility for how your day feels, to protect your inner peace, to focus only on what you can control, to remember that your worth is not defined by outcomes, to act instead of endlessly intending, to see challenges as opportunities to grow stronger, to stop comparing your journey to others, to build success through discipline instead of motivation, to shape your mindset with gratitude, and finally, to end every day better than you started. These are not just motivational phrases. They are daily mental training. Because the truth is simple. Your mornings shape your days. Your days shape your habits. And your habits shape your entire life. Every sunrise is a fresh chance to program your mind with strength, clarity, and purpose. You may not control everything that happens in this world, but you always control how you step into it. And sometimes, that single decision is enough to change everything. Now I'm curious. Which of these morning affirmations spoke to you the most? Was it taking control of your emotions, protecting your peace, or choosing discipline over motivation? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear which one you're committing to starting tomorrow morning. If this video gave you value, take a second to hit the like button so more people can discover it. And if you want more powerful ideas on mindset, discipline, and building an unshakable life, make sure to subscribe to the channel and join this growing community. Because the strongest lives are built one day at a time, and it all begins with the way you wake up.